Good day everyone. Welcome to our video on coercion under law of contract. In this video, we'll explore what coercion means, its main elements, an example of how it can occur, a real court case to help you understand with the concept better. Before we dive into coercion, let's first look the basics of contract law and the importance of the free consent. Let's get started.
Hi, good day everyone. Today I want to explain about coercion. Before that, I want to explain about introduction to the law of contract and factors facilitating contracts. The law of contract is the law that governs agreements between two or more parties. It ensures that promises made between parties are legally binding. It also protects the rights and responsibility of each party and provides legal remedies if one party breaches the contract. Next, let's look at the factors facilitating contract. Factors facilitating contract are situations that affect the validity of the contract. They occur when the consent of one or both parties is not given freely or it's obtained improperly. As a result, the contract may become either void and voidable. Contract Act 1950, an agreement become a valid contract only if it is made with the free consent of all parties. There are 5 factors that can affect free consent: coercion, undue influence, misrepresentation, fraud, and mistake. The first 4 factors, coercion, undue influence, fraud, and misrepresentation, make a contract voidable. This means the affected party has the right to continue or cancel the agreement. However, if there is a mistake, the contract becomes void, meaning it has no legal effect from the beginning. After that, free consent is an essential requirement for a valid contract.
Now that we have learned about the law of contract, section 10, and the importance of free consent, let's take a closer look at coercion. Coercion means forcing a person enter into a contract against their free will by using threats, violence, or other unlawful pressure. Because the person's consent is not given freely, the contract may be challenged in court. There are 4 main elements of coercion. First, there must be the use of threats or force. One party threatens or uses physical force to make another person agree to the contract. Second, the act must be unlawful. The threat or action must involve something that is illegal or prohibited by the law. Third, there must be an intention to force consent. The purpose of the threat or unlawful act is to pressure the other person into agreeing to the contract. Finally, the consent is not freely given. The person agrees only because of fear or pressure, not because they genuinely want to. To see how coercion applies in real life, let's look at an example scenario followed by a real court case.
Now let me explain the concept of coercion through a simple example. Mei Ling owns a house that she plans to rent out. David wants to rent the house, but Mei Ling decides not to rent it to him. David then threatened Mei Ling, saying,
"If you refuse to rent the house to me, I will break the windows of your house."
Because Mei Ling is afraid that her property will be damaged, she signed the rental agreement. This situation is considered coercion because David used a threat of illegal property damage to force Mei Ling to enter into a rental agreement. Mei Ling decided not to agree because she genuinely wanted to rent the house to David. Instead, she agreed because she afraid that David would damage her house. Therefore, consent was not given freely but was obtained through threats. Under Section 15 of Contract Act 1950, threatening to commit an act that is forbidden by law to make someone enter into a contract amount to coercion. As a result, the rental agreement is violated, meaning Mei Ling has the legal rights to cancel the contract because her consent was not freely given. This example clearly shows that when consent is obtained through threats or unlawful pressure, the agreement is made under caution.
Today, I will explain the case of Chin Nam Bin Development Syndrome Berhad versus Tai Kim Chu and the 4 others. The plaintiff is Chin Nam Bin Development Syndrome Berhad, and the defendant is Tai Kim Chu and the 4 others house purchaser. The defendant agreed to purchase the house from Chin Nam Bin Development for 29,500 for each and signed the sales and purchase agreement. After the agreement was signed, the development demanded an additional 4,000 from each purchaser and threatened to cancel the house booking if they refused to pay. The purchaser paid the extra amount because they feared losing their houses, not because they agreed to additional charge. Then, they later filed a lawsuit to recover the money. The main purchase was before the court was whether the 4,000 was paid voluntarily or under coercion, and whether the purchaser was entitled to recover the money. The court ruled in the favor of defendant. It held the payment was not voluntarily and it was made under pressure due to the development trade. The court ordered the plaintiff refund the 4,000 to each purchaser. This case established that money the paid of the trade unfair and pressure can be recovered under Section 73 of the Contract Act 1950, and the enforcement the principle that free consent and entitled to encar agreements.
We have now learned about the meaning and the elements of coercion, along with an example and a real court case. In conclusion, free consent is an essential element of every valid contract. When consent is obtained through coercion, the contract becomes voidable at the option of the affected party. Thank you for watching, and we hope this video has helped you better understand the concept of coercion under the law of contract.